Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and CEO of the Artisan Training Institute, Dr. Sean Jones.
Good morning, folk. It's great to be with you this morning. And by way of formal introduction, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries and fellow South Africans, it's great to be here. I woke up early this morning, having prepared a detailed speech, and I thought I don't really want to read off notes, but at the same time, I didn't want to miss out on anything. So I made some summaries. So please excuse me if I refer back, because I don't want to miss any of the key points. Myself and my business partner, Mandisa, put your hand up, Mandy. We purchased Artisan Training Institute back in 2007. We train over 2,000 apprentices per annum on 3 campuses. We run a couple of campuses for other institutions, and we do a lot of work in Africa, in Madagascar, DRC, Zambia, Ghana, to name a few. And we've become incredibly passionate about engineering training, and in particular, quality engineering training. We see young people arrive on our doorstep at our campuses, and it's the most beautiful thing to observe shy kids that have no confidence, walking around feeling uncomfortable. 3 months later, you see those same young people, and they're walking around with their chin up, their shoulders back, and you've given them pride in what they've learned and dignity, most importantly. And for me, the key is around how do we scale that? How do we create pride and dignity and give young people utility so that they can contribute to our economy? And in essence, that is the theme of what I want to talk to you about today. So South Africa is alive with possibilities. It really is. We've got fertile soils. We've got a very good infrastructure, especially compared to many other countries on the continent. We've also got amazingly creative people. And on a day-to-day basis, I'm always amazed at how awesome South Africans are. We come across South Africans in all walks of life. And South Africans are known for how friendly they are. And we've got a lot of good feedstock in this country. And the challenge for us is to get our education system aligned so that we can channel talent early. And once we do that, make sure that we can provide quality education for these young people. So I think that there are challenges. We're quite well aware of them. The challenges really are around unemployment, inequality, and it's inequality of opportunity. That's a major, major problem. And then also, when you look at rural areas in particular, that problem is exacerbated. And in order to combat these challenges, we need to figure out how we can scale quality education and find out and understand where the jobs are in our economy and channel kids to make decisions early. And even in rural areas, there are opportunities for us to expand education in different ways. We can expand apprenticeships using our existing TVET systems and structures. We can use online education to improve flexibility in learning, and also, if it's quality online education, that can also be used in TVET colleges to bolster some of the outcomes. Thirdly, we need public-private partnerships that encourage support from industry, from institutions that provide education, government and private, and also from donor-funded institutions that can also support access to funding. Funding's an ongoing problem. We need to challenge industry to push harder, get more involved. I mean, there's great work being done, and I'm always amazed. There are a lot of industries that are extremely generous. You look at Anglo, Glencore, Sasol, our hosts, lots and lots of goodwill. The key, and sorry, one other big point that I missed is the stigma related to vocational education. And we know that, the World Bank often comment on the fastest growing economies being those that promote vocational education. And we know it works, and it's something that we have to embrace. Across the continent, we need to promote vocations. It's the quickest way to build a middle-class society and help people become productive. And a perfect case, we've all seen the German model. Germany promotes vocational education. They've enjoyed 6% unemployment over all these decades. And it's because there's no stigma attached to becoming an artisan. And a plumber or an electrician is as important as a doctor or a lawyer in any society. And it shouldn't be a second choice to go and choose a vocation. The other opportunities that we can jump into are the advent of renewable energy. I think since 2020, some of the statistics suggest that 73,000 jobs have been created in that sector. And the forecasts suggest that there's potential for 1.7 million jobs to be created by 2030. That is a lot of employment. And there's opportunity galore, and a lot of that opportunity isn't necessarily with big corporates. It's smaller companies that are more agile, and often individuals that can become self-employed and involved in these environments. So whether you're an electrician or a plumber, you can always upgrade your skills and start enjoying the benefits of participating in that broader area. Okay, let's chat about innovation quickly. I think South Africa traditionally has very creative people. If you look at the music industry, Miriam Makeba, and then breakthroughs in science and in medicine, Professor Salim Abdul Karim, great South Africans, all doing good work. Creativity is critical. I think we don't spend enough time helping young people embrace creativity. And I think the gentleman from Odin wrapped it up quite well, saying, we get taught to compete. We don't work well enough in teams, and the education system just kind of blots all of that out of us. So I really think that with creativity, you can start, and linked to STEM in particular, you can start making big differences. There's no reason why we can't solve issues around water scarcity, for example, or food insecurity. And that all comes from innovation and creativity linked to STEM. I often come across guys that started on the tools many, many years ago. They are engineers, or they run businesses, or they're entrepreneurs. It's a great place to start. There's nothing wrong with starting with a vocation. You can end up anywhere you choose after that. So we need to make sure that innovation is encouraged. How do we do this? We're all responsible. Every teacher in this room, whether or own business owner or whatever occupation you're in, we have to start encouraging leadership, creativity, and resilience amongst our youth. And that's, in my mind, is the only way to prepare this next generation for what's to come. And the big thing for me is digital literacy. I mean, we've just seen now how powerful the digital economy is becoming and will become. And when I talk to leaders in AI, they're talking about 6 monthly increments in improvement. And it really is a powerful process. And from a digital perspective, by 2030, they reckon that 70% of jobs will require some digital competence. If you don't have digital competence, you're going to be relegated to the 30% of jobs that aren't that great. So we have to start instilling digital expertise and know-how amongst our kids. So what is the way forward? I think the way forward for us is to get a national commitment including government, business, civil society, to build a skills ecosystem that is robust and inclusive. We've got to get the rural communities, township communities, and everybody having equal access to skills opportunities. Really important. And in conclusion, I think every South African has skills to offer. I would love to share a vision where every individual in this country has a skill, where every community thrives because its members are empowered, and an economy that is in the hands of skilled people. That would be an amazing thing to achieve. I think it goes beyond just being a dream. It should be a goal for all of us to help achieve that. And I really believe that all of us, whether learning, whether helping people learn, teaching, or we should all be uplifting each other and supporting one another to achieve that. So whether we're private institutions or public, we need to take hands and work towards a common vision. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate sharing some of my insights. I just wanted, before I wrap up, touch on this notion of intelligence and what it is. I've got a brother-in-law that didn't finish school, decided to go and do an apprenticeship, became a printer. And when I first met him, I was a bit of a snob because I had the privilege of having a formal education. And even my wife kind of looked down on this guy, and it's her own brother. And I watched him over the years, and I saw the one year his Heidelberg printing press broke down. And he jumped on, couldn't get the part, jumped onto a lathe, fabricated a part, got his printing machine up and running. And I was like, jeepers, that's quite clever. And then a couple of years later, I'd learned that he had built 2 vintage aeroplanes all by himself from scratch and got them flying. And I thought, for a guy that never finished school, went and did a printing trade, that's an incredibly bright human being. And just touching back on the stigma, we have to get rid of this. There are incredibly bright people that get pleasure from working with their hands, and we should encourage that. Not everybody wants to sit behind a desk. And for those youngsters that want to get out there, get joy from working with their hands, let's encourage it and let's make it happen. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.